Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the GCU initial site visit meeting. The reason for this meeting is simply just to meet, get to know each other, and go through some of the things that I've already sent you. You should have already received some emails from me with the steps that we're going to take at this unusual time of virtual observations. We chose this method because this method is better used as relates to the school systems because some are closed, some are open to just have administrators and teachers there, and some are open just virtually. So doing it this way would give everybody a balanced feel, a situation where they can come in and perform their evaluations. So we're going to start with the welcome in terms of the things that you should have received. What I want you to do is just sort of go through what you have. If you don't have everything with you right now, that's okay, because we have it here on the screen that we're going to share with you. So if it's something here that we talk about today that you have not received, just email me and let me know, and I'll make sure I get it out to you. Now, everything that I emailed out so far went to the teacher candidate as well as the cooperating teacher or mentor. Here's the letter. Can everybody see the letter on the screen that I'm sharing? If you don't, let me know.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Well, this is the letter I sent out. Mainly this letter just to go out to introduce you to me, so you'll have an idea of who I was. Let me get rid of this noise in the background. Let me turn this off. Okay, now what this has and on it is just an opportunity for you to get to know me, and I'm sending these out because sometimes these go out to the school systems as well. And what happens is I get a kickback. And the reason for that is some of the school systems will not allow a unknown email to come into the system and bring in viruses and such things as that. So what I do is send something out to you, and if you don't already have a personal email address, I ask you to get one. So you can email me, and once you email me, I'll have a means to get to you. And if you email me from the school system, that gives me a means to get to you through the school system that you're in. That way, if you email me first and then I email you back, the school system will let that email in, thinking that it was okay since you emailed that email address first. I also asked for the students to give me this information that you see at the bottom, this particular address, names and telephone numbers, so I can contact you at any time. I'm out and about daily, but I will always send you my cell phone number and all of the emails that I sent you, so you should have it as well. And also you should have my home number. Since I'm out and about a lot, if you call me, I'll answer the phone. Unless, of course, I'm between two 18-wheelers, then I will probably wait until I'm in a safe place to return your call. But if you call me, I will return your call because I have all of your numbers in my telephone and email book. So when you call, I'll see the number and the name, and I can call you back. Also in this email, I have information as it relates to your the weeks that you're teaching, or you have students teaching with you. You will either have a 16-week or a 15-week stint with students if you are a cooperating teacher. And of course, the 16 weeks is really 2 8-weeks. The reason for splitting up the 16 into 2 8-weeks is because those students go in, they may have a science math major, so they may take 8 weeks in the science class and then 8 weeks in the math class. Now that can all be at the same school, or it can be at 2 different schools within the same school system. So it just depends. And the 15-week plan is weeks 1 through 15 straight through. It's just one assignment. And of course, also, if you have any questions about the forms that I'm going to send out, you should have those forms already with you. But if you have some forms out there, I'll talk about those later in this particular meeting, the 16 and 18 week form. So don't worry about that. We will get to that. And if you have additional questions after I explain them, you can get back with me on that as well. Now, the tentative site visit dates. These are the dates that are tentative right now until you find out whether or not these dates will be all right with you. And I say all right with you because I know that some of these dates may come during spring break, winter break, teacher work days, a day you might be sick, a day that the battery decides to go dead in the car. Any of those reasons, meaning that that might be a day that you might miss. So some days you can plan ahead, some days you can't. But the days that you can plan ahead, just let me know if it falls on a teacher work day or something, just let me know and we'll change the date. They're not in cement. That's why I call them tentative. And if you should miss the day, you're going to be out sick that day. And you know, these are unusual times. We've had people come up with COVID and they had to separate themselves for about 10 days. In that case, you can't be around others. So you let us know and we'll reschedule. But these are the dates we have. And if these are the dates that you have now, these are just example dates that I have in front of you right now. But if one of the dates that I sent to you in terms of the tentative dates, if one don't match or can't fit, just let me know and we'll change it. We'll update it. But these are the dates you should have your evaluations ready for me. If you're going to record them ahead of time, that's great. Send it to me along with your lesson plan so I have a means to follow that as I review the recording. Now, if you decide to invite me into the classroom, you have to let me know at least 2 days ahead of time so I can prepare to be in front of a computer sitting down so I can observe you as you go through the lessons. And also send me lesson plans for that ahead of time too. Most tend to like the recording ahead of time because for obvious reasons. If you don't like what you see the first time you go through it, you can always just start over and do it again until you've got one that's to your liking, of course, in front of the students and what have you. And that way you can get the best possible lesson to me that I can observe along with the lesson plans for you. Now, if you invite me into the classroom, then it's only one setting for that particular lesson. So we'll go in and do that and get that done and get back to you once we've completed the evaluation. Now, when should you have that in? How early can you send it in to me? I wouldn't do it any more than a week ahead of time. So I tried to have students starting on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday, and I skipped Friday for obvious reasons because I have to go back and evaluate all of the forms that observations that I've completed. And forms 1 through 4, you should have copies of those as well. 1, 2, and 3 is pretty much standard, not too long, but the 4th observation is 95 pages long. So I'll need the time granted in order to complete the evaluation so I can get it to you, back to you at a reasonable time. Now, the virtual site visits, of course, is just that, virtual. I'll be doing them either you inviting me in via Zoom or some of the other Googles or some of the other platforms they use in order to get that done. Now, the time logs, we'll get into that right now. The time logs, again, you have the 2 different time logs. You have the 8 weeks, 2 8 weeks, which is 16 weeks, or you have the 15 weeks time log. This is the 8 week. You have 2 of these. You should have the first 8 weeks and the second 8 weeks. This is what this one is for. And after 8 weeks, you should have from 35 to 40 minimum days that you should have completed, because you have to have a total of 75 days by the end of your student teaching. Now, I always ask students ahead of time, make sure that they know they need to make sure they got at least a week or 2 of days with nothing to do. So in the event that you get sick the car breakdown, or something should happen, you have to be out a week to 10 days. You can complete all of your 75 days or 70 days if you're doing the 15-week program. You have enough time to get all your days in. Because if you don't get all your days in by May, end of May, 1st of June, that means you're gonna have to come back in the fall and complete your days. So you wanna make sure you have enough days between now and the end of the semester so you can make sure you get all of your observation days completed. If it's 75 days, you should have 75 days here at the bottom of this form. And I notice that you got in the 8-week period or 15-week period, you have a line where you have the days and the dates that you're in school for that week. And at the bottom, the cooperating teacher or mentor should initial the bottom for each week that you do. And then after that is done and you get all the way down to week 8, then you should come down and make a copy of this original form. Don't send me the original, because guess what? You got 8 more weeks to do. So you keep the original, and the cooperating teacher and student teacher will sign it and date it. And that way you send me the copy, and I'll have that copy to sign and date, and then I can upload it to your evaluation and make sure I get that evaluation in. Now, the evaluations that should have your time log is evaluation number 2 and evaluation number 4. If you get out evaluation number 2 to complete, make sure you send me this form, signed and dated, and also put the total number of days where it says total number of days just above the initials at the bottom left of the form. Make sure you put the total number of days. It should be 35 or 40 days or somewhere in between there. So you know, if whatever days you have at the beginning on the first form, 8 weeks, whatever's left over, you know you got to complete those final days. So you got to make sure you have enough days coming up in the second 8 weeks to complete all of those days. And always have a few extra days here and there. So in the event you should get sick, the car break down, or you got to take somebody to the doctor, maybe yourself, you never know. So just keep that in mind. Excuse me. And this is what the 15-week form looks like. And much like the other one, only everything is on one form. And you do pretty much the same things. Your personal information, the school information at the top. And then at the bottom is where the cooperating teacher or mentor will initial and date what you've done for the first week and for the 15 weeks, I should say. And it's pretty much the same at the bottom. And of course, the virtual process. I sent this out so you can have something in hand. So in the event of you forget what we may have talked about here, you can go back and look at this, and it gives you instructions on what you need to do over that given time and the things you need to have. And of course, I send out some forms to you. I sent out the formative feedback forms. That's for the cooperating teachers to complete. And I sent out the student teacher self-evaluation for the student teacher to complete. Now, these are not required forms, but I suggest you send those in. That will assist me in completing the final form for each of the evaluations for the students. Just give me some idea of where the student teacher and the cooperating teacher stand and where they are on that particular evaluation. It will assist me a great deal if you would. And then, of course, I just have more information down here in terms of what you need to do and how to reach me if you have questions. Okay, here's the first sheet of the self-evaluation for the student teacher. This is what it looks like. I sent all 4 to you. This is just the first form, but I sent all 4 self-evaluations to the student teacher as well as the cooperating teacher, so you can both see what it looks like and what questions are on it. This is not going to be a gotcha type thing. We want you to know ahead of time what we're going to be asking about and what we're looking for. So you'll have some idea what to be doing while you're in the classroom. Now, this is the affirmative feedback form for the cooperating teacher. Pretty much the same kind of questions. This is just the first form. There are a total of 4, and you should have all 4 in your emails at this time. Okay. And also the GCU Professional Dispositions and Learners Scoring Guide. This is what the scoring guide looks like on all of those forms, on the main form that I'll be doing especially. Now, notice that you have 6 levels. You have levels 1 through 6 with no evaluation for 1, ineffective in 2, foundational in 3, emerging in 4, proficient in 5, and distinguished in 6. I got level 5 in green for a special reason. This is the good standing area. If you get proficient, you're passing, you're fine, you're in great shape. I don't have many students falling below 5. I don't have many students going above 5, that distinguished. That's above and beyond the call of duty there. That's somebody doing some very things. They're bringing people in from the outside and doing all kind of experiments and anything, but don't you worry about that. If you're proficient, you're fine. You don't have to say, well, if I'm at a 5, I'm not at the top where I need to be. No, you're where you need to be. You're fine if you're proficient. You get that, you're passing, you're in good shape. Now, this is what the form that I'll be using for you. You should have all 4 of these. This is just sheet number 1. Notice at the top, it has no evidence, inefficient, foundational, emerging, proficient, and distinguished there. You're at proficient. That's where you need to be. You're between 80 and 92, you're fine, you're passing. In fact, if you're at emerging, you're passing. But most of my students right here, they're right here at 80 and 92. We're here to get you from point A to point Z. Have you have a good landing. All right, let's see. This is the virtual observation information as well. It's just information that you need. It includes the observations that we're going to do and how we're going to do them, including the 2 options that you have. You can use Zoom and invite me in, Google, FaceTime, any of those and invite me in, or the school's district's technology. Or you can just simply record it and email me a copy of it, and that'll be fine. And I tell you, the one that works best is the one that you can do in re-record it in YouTube. YouTube is free. If you can get YouTube, it tends to do very well in terms, it doesn't give you a lot of problems in terms of feedback, in terms of getting it to me. Some of the others may cause some problems, but if you record it and then send it to YouTube, YouTube will do any transitions as far as the recording needs to have and everything else, and make it easy for you to handle it and to send it to me. Okay, additional information at the bottom, which includes the formal lesson plans and the things that I look for. And the lesson should be at least 30 to 45 minutes in length. Now, I know there are some people that might be in pre-K or something like that. They don't have 30 to 45 minutes because the students can take 30 to 45 minutes. They may be 10, 15 minutes. In that case, you might just do 10, 15 minutes and just send them both. And that'll count as your 30-minute lesson. And of course, don't forget to send me a copy of that lesson plan along with that. Also on this letter, I sent the Student Success Center URL to you. So if you have questions about other things, you can go to this center here, the Student Success Center, and it has a lot of information there for you in terms of lesson plans. It has things there that you can use to assist you in getting whatever you need to get done. And the post-conference, of course, the easiest way to do it is through a phone call. And I don't set up time arrangements for it after the evaluation, but excuse me, the post-conference call is so that I can talk to both the student teacher and the cooperating teacher and get some understanding of where they are and how they feel about how they have done thus far. So you can just call me on the phone. You don't have to make an appointment or anything. And most call me after school, after the students are gone, so they can sit and talk to me. And of course, I always have my cell phone, so you can call me. You don't have to make no appointment. Just call after the observation has been completed. It don't have to be on the same day. as the observation. You can do it the next day, which is fine. It's a post-conference call as long as it's after the observation has been completed. Okay, also at the bottom of this particular email, I had the, again, the cooperating teacher and the mentor teacher of the student teacher evaluation forms, the self-evaluation form and the feedback form. They have URLs, so if you click on them, they'll go directly to those forms. If you should lose your form, or you lose them where they are in their emails. Of course, again, I have my email address and my cell phone number so you can reach me at any time. Virtual site visit questions and answer. I won't read these out and go through them because we're going to have a little question and answer at the end anyway. But these are just some question and answers, some questions that I had been asked over time that comes out more than anything else. So I decided to put them in the email to you so you can have some idea what I was looking for, what we would be looking for. There's a note at the bottom, and this is just for those who are going to invite me into the lesson. I like to know what class I'm in at any given day and time. That way, I'll know what I should be looking for in the classroom. Because if it's like a science and you're in a lab, I know that everybody's going to be up and around. It's going to be a little different than a 25, 30 classroom where everybody's sitting down and the teacher's at their front whiteboard or something of that nature. I know what to look for. So if you can send me that information, that would be great too. But if you're going to do a recording, you don't have to worry about that because you're going to send that to me in advance along with your lesson plan. Okay, that's pretty much what I got for you today. So if you have questions, you can ask those of me now.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Dr. Cox?
Oh, I'm doing wonderfully well. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I was just taking a few notes as you were going through explaining everything. So one question, just to be clear, we do need to send you the lesson plans and try to send you those a week in advance for our date of observation, right?
It don't have to be a week in advance. You can send it to me on the same date as the site visit. The date that I sent out to you, the tentative site visit dates. If you send that out to me, just send it to me doing just send it along with the video that you're gonna send me. If you send it on the same day, that's fine. And then don't panic if you get busy at the end of the day and you forget to send it out. If you send it the next day, I can still review it as long as you have the lesson plan with it.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay, any other questions? Don't hesitate to ask.
Okay, I'm glad I got your email because I almost missed it.
Yeah, I just got your contract today. So I had to hurry up and get it out to you, and I'm glad you watched. So I said they probably won't be there today. But again, if you had missed today, I'm gonna I have this recorded. So at any time somebody should miss, they can always go back in and review this later.
Okay, all right. Now the cooperating teacher for Mr. Goose. And I don't see him in the meeting right now.
Well, don't worry about it. He'll get an opportunity to view this just like you're doing.
All right. Okay. So basically for me on the cooperating teacher side, I'm going to be doing 4 observations. Is that correct?
Right. You have those observations that I sent to you. You could do those 4 and then email them to me. And I consider those when I'm doing his evaluations.
Okay. All right. I'm teaching all day long, so I'm supposed to set these up during my planning period, or how are these being set up, the actual observations?
Well, now that depends on where you are. Now, I have some students that are novice who don't have a classroom, so they'll be within the same room as the cooperating teacher. And I have some that are working on advanced teachers that are working on their masters or their specialists, and they have their own classrooms. So you don't have to worry about that part of it.
Right. He's in a different school. He's working on his master's. We're in 2 separate buildings. So how are we supposed to set this up for me to observe him?
Well,
or
if he's recording it,
Oh, he's
You
going
can-
to be recording.
There you go.
that correct?
So all you have to do is review the recording just like I do.
Okay.
I send a copy to you and then send a
Okay.
copy to me to review.
All
All
right,
you need is the
okay.
lesson plans just like I would have.
Okay, great. So he's
Mhm.
going to be recording these and sending them to me. Okay, great.
Right. Just remind him that you'll need a copy since you're in a different building.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
No, sir, that was the only question that I had.
Okay, that's great. All right, then. That's all I have for you today. But now if I'm gonna send this recording out to everybody that are here today and the ones that missed it today. And then the new students that come in, I'll be sending it out to them too. You could just let them know that this is considered their initial site visit meeting. This is not going to count towards them as far as an observation or anything. This is just for informational purposes. So all they have to do is just review this and they'll get the same information that you got today. So if there are no more questions, we got to end it today. And I thank you for being here and have a great year, despite all the shortcomings that we all have this year.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.